Hey guys, I guess it's been a little while since we've talked. The last time that we did, I was rather excitedly and admittedly insecurely announcing that we just kicked off our Kickstarter campaign. And we have now actually come down to the last 4 days of the campaign, which are made much less nerve-wracking because we have made our initial $12,000 goal. And if you guys don't know how Kickstarter works, it's an all-or-nothing situation, so even if we were to get to $11,999, which would be absolutely ridiculous, we wouldn't get any of that money if we didn't cross that $12,000 goal. So hugely relieving to make it past that goal, and I'll actually kind of take this video to kind of just talk about what we were able to do that actually kind of ultimately made this Kickstarter campaign a success. But yes, very much a relief to get past that initial goal, and right now we're actually working towards getting towards some of our stretch goals. And the difficulty with stretch goals is ultimately, once the pressure's off, once you make it past that $12,000 goal, both myself and my collaborators, as well as those who are supporting the project, tend to get a little bit more chill about giving to it. It's like, oh cool, I was going to give money, but you crossed your kind of initial goal, so I'm not going to, why do we need to get to the stretch goals? So one of the pieces of advice that I would give you if you're interested in starting a Kickstarter campaign is make sure you keep that momentum going. Make sure you've announced those stretch goals probably even before you cross that $12,000 goal, just so ultimately you can continue to keep that momentum moving, keep people interested, allow them to understand the importance of moving forwards to the next goal. And when it came to the overall campaign, let me just say right now, if you're interested in doing a Kickstarter campaign, it is a full-time job. I mean, ultimately, unless you have a couple of really rich friends who are just generous and willing to give you large chunks of change, you will be asking anyone and everyone that you know as persistently and as sweetly as you can. Always trying not to be annoying. And in my situation, it was every single day filming dozens, and I'm not exaggerating, dozens of personal ask videos. I figured better than hitting copy paste and just sending out a bunch of emails, which are decently easy to ignore, I would actually take time to film 1.5 minute length-ish videos of saying, hey, so nice to talk to you right now, long time no see, and actually genuinely talk to them specifically, saying, hey, I missed this about you, or hey, we should catch up. And again, being actually sincere in these things. People can smell insincerity from a mile away, and it wasn't that I was coming there just trying to butter them up. I was actually genuinely wanting to reconnect. And then finishing the whole thing off with, the ultimate ask of, hey, this is what we have going on. So that was definitely one of the things that I was able to do. One of the things that I definitely learned I should have done was I needed to make a lot more connections before launching the campaign. Really, if you're looking to make some big, grand connections with someone that you don't know, after the campaign's been started, it's too late at that point. So in my specific instance, I was obviously trying to think of who would actually be interested in investing in this campaign, who would actually be interested in helping this thing get off the ground. And being that we're talking and making a film about people in the healthcare profession, it made sense that I would contact nurses and nurses organizations and nurses fraternities. But unfortunately, like I was just saying, I did it too late. I did it after I'd launched the campaign, and at that point, I wasn't coming to them asking for their advice or asking for their stories or asking for their contribution in any other way beyond it being monetary. And that, again, isn't a great way to start a relationship. So if you're thinking, hey, I've figured out kind of my market, I know who I ultimately want to market this film to, make those connections before you're asking them for money, because at that point, it might just be too late. And also, and this is kind of something that I tell my students all the time when it comes to networking and making connections, you never know who you're connecting with and ultimately who you might end up partnering with later on down the line. So always be on. Always be genuine. Don't ever be looking to use people because ultimately it's those genuine, real relationships and real connections that you've made previously that will oftentimes lead to the success of your Kickstarter campaign as well as any project. And in this specific instance, there were a couple of large donations which came from some very generous people. And part of the reason that I think those things worked out the way that they did is I was able to bring in those collaborators earlier on and allow them to feel a part of the project and allow them to be, not even just feel, but to be a part of the project. And it's those, again, that's those genuine connections that can sometimes lead to, the success of your Kickstarter campaign. So there are just a few thoughts on the whole Kickstarter campaign thing. There are numerous reasons to not go the crowdsource funding route. It's a full-time job. It's been very helpful that it's quite a ways off from Yes, that's my shirt, Judah. Off from the actual film shoot because I haven't been able to do really anything creative the whole month. So if it was any closer to the rest of the film shoot, it would be a lot more difficult, I think, to kind of maintain the momentum and be creative in the areas that I need to be. If I actually ultimately was getting a little closer to the shoot. But since our shoot's not until June, which is still a couple of months away, I've been able to, without sacrificing, I think, the quality of the film, just invest fully into this campaign and making sure we cross the finish line successfully. Anyhow, guys, just a few of my thoughts there, and myself and Judah, we'll talk to you later. All right, cheers.